Hey everyone, Chris here, and in this video we're going to be going over my guide to the Canadian Grand Prix. Down in the description you'll find a few timestamps to the different portions of this video just so you can skip ahead to the parts that you're looking for, or you can watch the entire thing. And if there's any questions that you still have after this video, be sure to write them down in the comments. We'll be doing our best job to answer all of them as fast as we can. And without further ado, let's get into it. Now, of course, the Canadian Grand Prix is hosted here in the beautiful city of Montreal, and it's in fact one of my favorite tracks because it's actually on an island. But before we get into how to get to the track, we gotta first talk about what to bring with you. Alright, we're here now in the studio to prepare what we need to bring with us before we head out to the track. We're gonna cover the must-haves, my recommendations, and what you can't bring. Now, jumping straight into the must-haves, the number one priority, of course, is gonna be your tickets. Now, whether they're gonna be a paper copy or an electronic version, you gotta bring these, otherwise you're not gonna get in. I'm pretty sure most of them are gonna be electronic, so with that being the case, you wanna make sure you download your tickets in advance so you can open them without the requirement of internet, and also just make sure that you charge your phone the night before. Next item, they pretty much go hand in hand together with your phone. It's gonna be your wallet. You're gonna wanna make sure that you bring your credit cards with you. Now, for most places, they're gonna take any major credit card, but I do still recommend bringing some emergency money just in case you wind up at a store that only takes cash. I could recommend somewhere around $40 to $60, and that's of course gonna be in Canadian currency. The next item, will also repeat it later on, but you're gonna need a mask to use the public transit if you're gonna be taking the metro to get to the track. You're also gonna wanna make sure that you have a good pair of shoes because we're gonna be doing a lot of walking over this weekend. And the last must-have is really dependent on what weather it's gonna be. So be sure to check the weather in the morning. If it's gonna be a scorching hot day, you're gonna wanna make sure you bring a hat or a pair of sunglasses as well. With that said, it's also going to be super important to bring some sunscreen if it's going to be really hot, as none of the grandstands have any roofs, and unless you're in general admission under a tree, you're going to need the sunscreen to avoid a burn. Now, alternatively, if it's looking to be a rainy day, you're either going to want to pack your raincoat, or if you don't have one, you can buy a poncho at the local dollar store. Moving on to my recommended items, of course, for all these different items that you're gonna wanna bring a good bag with you that can fit it all in. So whether that being a school bag or a fanny pack, whatever works best for you with what you're bringing. I will recommend you're gonna wanna take some photos there, so whether your camera is gonna be through your phone or you have a separate DSLR, you're gonna wanna bring that just to capture all those memories. So our next recommendation is surrounding food and beverages. You are in fact able to bring your own or pack your own lunch and bring your own drinks. Now, it is to note, you can't bring alcohol on the premise or any glass bottles, so you gotta make sure that they're in a can format. You can bring all of this stuff in your own little cooler. They do provide these measurements here for the maximum size of your cooler, but in the past I've brought something similar to a grocery bag with me of food and beverages, and that's been no problem with them. One thing to point out though is if you are bringing a cooler or a bag, you're gonna have it with you the whole day. So if you're sitting in the grandstands, it's gonna be right in between your feet, or if you're in general admission, you're gonna have some more room, but just remember, you're carrying this with you throughout the day. Now, if you're someone who doesn't want to worry about packing their own food, there are plenty of concession stands at the site. So you'll have plenty of options. You'll just have to wait in the lines. And of course, it's going to be much similar to festival pricing. However, I'm still going to highly recommend bringing at least a water bottle with you. Just keep it sealed before you pass security. For those of you who have grandstand tickets, my next recommended item is going to be a seat cushion. You're going to be sitting there for long durations of time. However, if you are in general admission, you're also able to bring a lawn chair with you, so I'd highly recommend that so you're not stuck standing the whole time. Now, when it comes to flags and banners, there's just one major rule surrounding this, is so long as you're not obstructing the person's view from behind you, you can bring them with you in the stands. So a lot of the times you'll see the people all the way at the back of the grandstands having their flags waving from there. So long as you're not blocking someone else's view, you should be good there. The last little point that the Canadian Grand Prix does mention on their website is reference cigarettes and vapes. You can bring those on the premise, you just can't smoke them in the grandstands or anywhere inside. So those are the must-haves and my recommendations of what to bring with you to the Grand Prix. Now let's talk about what you can't bring. And just to make sure I'm giving you guys the most accurate information, I do have the list here from their website of what you can't bring. So I will quickly read through the list. Like we said, no alcoholic drinks are allowed. no bicycles or skateboards. There are no ladders or step ladders, glass items like I said. Of course, no harmful or dangerous weapons or items will be allowed. Like I said before, you can't bring anything that's going to obstruct someone else's view. You can't bring your barbecue, and you can't bring any electronic equipment that needs a generator to use it. You can't bring a drone to the site, nor can you fly it into the site. And lastly, you can't bring any animals on the site unless they are a service or a guide dog. So that's everything reference what you can and cannot bring and what you should bring with you to the Grand Prix. Now let's talk about how we're gonna get there. So now let's talk about how we are gonna get to the circuit. The track is actually a permanent circuit, so it's open year-round, which is very popular for cyclists. We'll see tons of those later on. Now, when thinking about how to get to the track, there's only really one main option available, and it's not by car. Funny enough, there's actually no full-time parking for the Canadian Grand Prix, so we're gonna have to take the Montreal metro system. So like I said, we have to take Montreal's metro system. So you're gonna open up on Google Maps, find your nearest metro, and head on over there. Come along with us. Don't forget, you are gonna need to bring your masks, as it is still required on public transit. So once you're in the metro, you're gonna wanna find yourselves one of the machines that looks like this. Essentially, it's the one that's gonna be giving you your card for the day. So a major tip here I want to share is to make sure that you're buying your trip for the way there and the way back right now. You can buy 2 tickets at once. The last thing you want to do once you're done the day is to have to wait in a line to get a ticket to use the metro on the way back. There's going to be tons of people, so you're saving a ton of time by buying your 2 tickets right now. So you can also go to the teller, but they're only going to have cash available for you. So here we're going to go to the non-rechargeable card. If you're here, we have a variety of different options. The minimum you can get is 2 transfers. Like I said, you want to make sure you get the way back. Unlimited weekend only covers Saturday and Sunday. The 3 consecutive days is probably your best bet if you're going to get it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but it only works till 11:59 on the Sunday or your 3rd day. For our sake, we're going to choose unlimited even just because it's past 5. And I'm going to click 1 fare, and then you can use your credit or debit card or cash to pay for it. So then you just put your credit card or debit card in here, punch in your code, and then you'll get your ticket right at the bottom here. So once you've tapped your card to get through the gate, make sure that you're standing on the correct side of the metro. Now you can tell this by looking at a map to make sure that you're heading in the direction that you want to go. You'll see these numbers in the little circles here. That represents how many minutes it's going to take to get to that station. Now we will talk about which metro station we want to go to in a couple of seconds, but I just want to point out that there's these monitors in every metro station, which will show you how many minutes you have to wait for the next metro to show up. So of course, once you do have your card, you want to hold on to it just to make sure you don't lose it. So put that somewhere safe. So now that we're on the metro station we're trying to get to is called Prix, and it's on the yellow line. So in all carts, there's going to be a little map at the top corner that you can have a look at. You want to find out which station you are leaving at and which way you need to go to get to the yellow line. Now there's one major central station that connects everyone on to the yellow line, and it's known as Prix. If you are on the island of Montreal, you're all trying to go to that one station. All the lines lead there except for the blue line. We'll see you once we're at Prix. So we are now on our way to the yellow line. It's kind of down this long tunnel, and you have this hallway. If you hear a bunch of beeping, that means the metro cart is there, and you can either choose to run. I don't recommend that because you might fall down the next staircase. It has 3 stops, 1 on each end, and Parc Jean Drapeau is in the middle, so it's not hard to miss. And plus a lot of other people are going to be getting off there, so we will see you once we get to Parc Jean Drapeau metro station. So like I said, you get off at the first station regardless of whichever side of the metro you were on, whether you were coming from the South Shore, from Terminus Longueuil, or from Berry-UQAM in Montreal. Lots of people are going to get off at the station with you, so you should be good to not miss the stop. So what you're going to do is come up these stairs here, and then essentially you're just going to go outside, and we're gonna look for our first landmark to know which way to go towards the Grand Prix. So we've made it officially to Parc Jean Drapeau, and now it's time to figure out which way we have to go to get to the track. And now we have to find our first landmark to know which way is the track. It's actually right behind me. It's known as the Biosphere, and it's pretty easy to find. Plus, you'll see loads of crowds. There's gonna be tons of signs out here to know which way you're gonna head. And you're actually gonna head down this hallway right here and across the bridge onto the track. This is also the time to prepare your tickets, as this is where they're gonna scan them and you're gonna go through your security check. So once you've crossed to the other side of the bridge, you're actually going to be right at the hairpin of the track. So the next step probably for you is to find a map of the park to know exactly where your grandstands are and plan your way on how to get to them. If you're on the other side of the park at the Sena S corner, you're going to have about a maybe 20-minute walk all the way to get there. So hopefully you have spare time. So while you're walking towards your seat, there's gonna be a ton of different activities that you're gonna pass by, from brand activations, fan zones, mini concerts possibly. So get yourself involved. Some notable ones that I've seen is practicing pit stops, driving in some sims, and from past years, the Monster Energy section is a lot of fun, and you might even get a free Monster. One small little detail, if you do wanna make a pit stop at the casino, you are going to be leaving the circuit grounds, so just be careful of that, because then you'll have to go back through security, scan your ticket, so just keep that in mind. With that said, be sure to keep your eye on the clock while you're enjoying yourselves out there. That way you make sure you have enough time to get back to your seats, go to the bathroom, get yourself comfortable, ready for the racing to start. So now that the race is over, and if you're within walking distance, you can make your way onto the track to see the podium. And for the rest of the duration of the day, the track is going to be open for you to walk around, get closer to pit lane, maybe see a few cars, get some nice shots from there. So this will be where all the teams are. You can get up nice and close here, see some cars being rolled in, get some cool photos. Maybe you might even see a driver. So with the Grand Prix now a part of history, you're looking for other stuff to do. There's some great locations in Montreal that you can check out. Most notably, Crescent Street turns into a pedestrian-only zone. There's lots of music, pop-up shops, and supercars going through that area. So definitely check that one out. Another popular location to go to after the Grand Prix is the Old Port. There's tons of stuff to do there, lots of restaurants, merchandise stores. However, it does get very busy, and it's towards the higher price range in that area. If you're looking for a more chill experience after the race, try to stay away from the downtown core, as it's going to be very busy. So be prepared for that. There is plenty of after parties, international DJs. Montreal is known as one of the party cities, but best of luck. Unless you have a ticket already, it might be kind of hard to get in at the last minute. So regardless of what your plans are, we gotta head back to the metro now, either across the bridge that we came from or across the bridge by the casino. Another spot I could recommend is Boulevard Saint-Laurent in the Plateau, which is a very popular street for nightlife and restaurants with terraces. There's also a lot of street art and murals that you can see while you're going up this road, so much so that there's actually a mural festival that takes place around the same time in the month of June. All of this is accessible by getting off at the Saint Laurent metro station, so the entertainment doesn't stop after the checkered flag waves. Now it's time for us to head back to the metro and tell you what Cass will be up to during the Grand Prix. And there you have it, all you need to know ahead of your visit to the Canadian Grand Prix. I hope you found this video helpful. If you're interested in any content from behind the scenes, Cass is going to be in the paddock this year once again, so be sure to hit that subscribe button. If we still haven't answered some of your questions, be sure to drop them down in the comment section. We'll be sure to reply to them as best as we can. And drop the video a like if you've enjoyed it. Once again, thank you so much for watching and enjoy the race.